This time on Kawaii Fi Radio, Kira Lee goes dark mode.
It has fairy slavery in it.
That is not the opening line I was expecting.
Well, that's how it all starts.
We have an accidental nerd off.
The non-nerd.
She's wearing a Ghostbusters shirt. What are you
Slice
on
nerd.
And we talk about an underappreciated Ghibli classic. And then a number of characters made into other stories in popular culture, and the protagonist of the film Whisper of the Heart is the inspiration for Lo-Fi Girl.
Oh.
Like that channel. That is a scene from Whisper of the Heart. Yeah.
It's over 9,000! NANI?
Configure the language logic interface for Japanese.
Wi-Fi.
Kawaii-Fi Radio!
Konnichiwa and welcome. You tuned into Kawaii Fi Radio, the podcast we dive into the world of anime and manga. I'm Kyle, and with me I've got Kira Lee and Kenny. Hello!
Hello.
Feels like it's been a while.
Yeah, I'm not dead anymore.
Hey, congratulations. Get well soon.
It's get well soon. It's like you were dead. I got better. This episode we were going to talk card captors, but we're taking a slight detour on that because the whole team wants to talk about it. And we're the only three who are available this weekend due to various factors. So we're going to push that back a little bit. So maybe next episode, maybe the episode after, we'll just see how we're going time-wise.
I have only watched the one episode of it.
Well, now you've got 2 weeks to watch all 50. If you do so choose. There's a lot.
She
Yeah.
fights a kaiju in the first episode.
It's amazing. So this episode, we're going to go and look at an anime film. And it's one that all of us hold quite dear, but is kind of an underrated gem. And this is Crackle, Snapple, and Pop.
I think it is, in fact, neither of those or none of those.
Yeah, no. I could just hear crackling in my headphones. This episode, we are talking about the Studio Ghibli film The Cat Returns.
Yay.
Now, this is not a Miyazaki film. It is actually from one of the other wonderful minds at Studio Ghibli. It's fantastic. And it's very family friendly.
Love it.
And the English dub is actually phenomenal because
It
it's
is.
during the period when they were doing really good stuff.
Yeah, Disney handled a lot of the dubbing for most of Ghibli's films, and they just seem to throw money at that. They got all of the big names.
Like Anne Hathaway. Like, what? Carrie Ellis. What? So,
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
Yeah. So, look, if you are new to the podcast, welcome. We'll get into this in a moment. But before we do talk about The Cat Returns, we're going to talk about what we've actually been watching over the past month, actually, because it's been a hot minute.
I have no idea how old I am or where I came from.
Nani? Ohio?
Hey guys, I gotta go!
I have to know. Hooray, I did the thing.
Oni-chan, nani wo miru? What we're watching. So, it's been a hot minute. It's been actually more than a hot minute, if I'm honest. It's been like most of this season that I've been sick. So, we haven't actually had a chance to really talk about everything that's airing this season, aside from that brief chat 5 weeks ago.
Okay,
So,
how many hot minutes in a month?
don't say that. You'll trigger people's home devices. Now, Kenny, we are going to start with you. You've been watching Helk.
I have. It's new this season, and it is a delight. He's like a very, very upbeat, cheerful Conan the Barbarian.
/ Hercules.
Yes.
Yes.
And frankly, I am adoring it. Just all the characters themselves are crazy. Like, I figured the main character, Helk himself, would be like the center of all the comedic drama. Kind of no, he's almost a straight man.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
It's that everyone else's reaction to a human fighting to become the Demon King is hilarious. They're just like, this has got to be a trap or something.
Yeah.
Throw a weird obstacle in his path. Make him not become the king.
But aren't all the crowd behind him as well?
Yeah.
It's just like, hang on.
He's a massive crowd favorite because he's such a glorious fighter and such a stand-up dude as well.
Yeah, no, we did talk about this in the preview for the season all those moons ago, and it's pretty straightforward. It's like, while humanity celebrates the defeat of a demon king by the hands of a lone hero, the denizens of the demon world prepare for the contest of a lifetime, a tournament to decide who will become the next demon king. So yeah, you defeat the demon king only to be replaced by the new boss. So 3 months later, the tournament's been proceeding smoothly, other than the fact that the favourite to come out on top is the human hero Helk.
See, there is a stipulation. There's a reason they can't just do away with the human. Everyone in the contest has signed something called the Green Contract. It means that nothing can be done to harm them by anyone outside of the tournament.
Right.
And they, the people involved in the tournament, can't harm anyone outside of the tournament either. So they are functionally invincible.
Yeah, which is a wild concept, but it's actually kind of cool.
It's a fun little stipulation, but it means that the people who want to do away with him for his humanity have to be creative with their plans in dumb ways. In the first episode, they decide to change out the combat tournament with making a house of cards.
Yeah, like that was...
That's an odd choice.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the crowd get behind it because they decide it has a deeper meaning.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And the person who's running this competition is sort of like the Major Domo of the Demons, is this adorable anime girl who's just like, no, it's not that deep, stop!
They're like, yeah, it makes sense. You know, you've got to be able to look after a house and structure it and, you know, be able to take your time when you need to. And this really sets the sights for that. And everyone else is just like, okay. And then it turns into like combat, like whoever can complete their house of cards first.
Whilst fighting...
Others.
Whilst destroying everyone else's house of cards.
Yeah, is the winner. It's
And
just...
that's basically the first episode. It is silly and I love it.
Wow.
Yeah, it is quite entertaining, and the hijinks just ensue throughout the whole season so far, which is, you know, always good. Kira Lee, well, firstly, Helk is on Crunchyroll off the top of my head. You are watching Kira Lee...
Second season.
Sorry, High Dive from Helk. You're watching second season of Sugar Apple Fairy Tale... Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I got the name right. I thought I was wrong.
It does sound like a bit of a
That
like a
does
wrong
just sound
title.
like a bunch of cute words.
Yeah.
So this is also on Crunchyroll. Season 1 was earlier in this year, and
Yes.
it's well, I'll let you describe it.
Yeah. So it has fairy slavery in it.
That is not the opening line I was expecting.
Well, that's how it all starts. Like the first season, it opens with fairy slavery, pretty much. What the hell? So slavery. they pluck a singular wing of a fairy, and then they hold the wing, which then makes them their slave.
Mutilate the fairy and then bring the... What is this show about?
So
Slavery.
Yeah, slavery of fairies.
Whoa.
So there's like different types of fairies. So there's the like the guard fairies who can combat and fight and things like that. And
Fairy
then there's
godparents, yes.
And then there's companion fairies, and then there's like worker fairies. Worker fairies are small, and then the rest are like human sized. And so it follows this girl who wants to become the sugar. What's the word?
Sugar honey iced
like
tea.
yeah.
Sugar honey iced cheese. All right.
So she wants to be known for making her sugar confections and her designs of them and everything. And so she goes and competes in competitions with the Viscount of sugar.
So this is about like making treats. This is a patisserie like anime that starts with slavery and mutilation of fairies.
Throughout. Because
Wow.
she needs to go to the castle to put her entry in the competition. And so she buys the fairy to look after her to go over there. That's all in the first season.
Does everyone in this competition have a fairy assistant?
Yes.
Is it a common thing?
So she befriends a fairy assistant, a smaller fairy assistant. She doesn't hold its wing, but she holds the wing of the fighter fairy to protect her on her journey to go over there, and then gives the wing back, and then they become friends. So
okay.
nobody has slaveries well, she doesn't have slaves. Other people do.
Oh,
but
good
she's
to
like
know.
friends with the fairies that are around her and like
Okay,
treat them
yeah.
as equals. So it's like very sweet. But she's like in love with the fairy warrior and it's like, oh, yeah.
There's a bit of a size
Good.
difference there, but sure.
No, because, yeah.
The fairies can actually be human-sized.
Yes.
So.
You don't see that often. I don't think I've actually seen that since
No.
Shakespeare.
So fairies are made from the longing looks of humans at objects. And then the objects then can
Is
make
this kind of like the
a fairy.
100-year, like, yokai thing? Like, you know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like she even like they show her making a fairy. I think she's looking at a flower and then it like glows and then the fairy pops out of it and she's like, "Oh, you've created me. Oh, thank you."
So if
and then
Wow.
and then the warrior fairy's like, "Yeah, you know, take good care of your wings now. You know, don't go near people. People are mean." And then she like flies away and she's like, "Thank you."
So if I really, really wanted a can of Pepsi,
Could you get a Pepsi fairy?
well,
Well, I mean, I suppose you probably could. So the warrior fairy was made from a precious gem. I can't remember which gem he was from, but the like warrior fairies are all from pretty much like precious
This
gems.
is Land of the Lustrous all over again.
But they can die as well. So one of them was done by this lord who was looking at the ocean, and then the ocean made the fairy.
Why don't you answer me, Ocean? Okay, here, have a fairy. God damn it.
the ocean has answered at
But
last.
because the I suppose the mentality of like, oh, the ocean is very, you know, it changes and moves, and so that fairy died.
Oh.
Yeah.
Trippy.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty sad.
Yeah, and because the count who created that fairy loved that fairy as well, and it died, and he kept kind of looking for
Oh, wait.
like
So
the fairy or trying to make the same fairy, but you can't make the same
Yeah.
fairy again. And so he hires her to make a sugar sculpture of that fairy in hopes that he could look at it to then create
Another fairy.
the exact same fairy. Yeah, it's like this
Wow.
whole thing.
So
and it's
if something
great.
happens to change the object of desire, that will affect the fairy. So
Well, I don't know.
So if I wanted that
that's
can
just-
of Pepsi and then drink that can of Pepsi, does that kill the fairy Pepsi fairy?
Well, maybe.
Yeah, I guess so.
But the Pepsi is still there. It's
But I do not desire the can, I desire the liquid inside.
Yeah, but you're looking at the can,
Ah.
right?
So you're saying everyone has laser eyes in this?
Yeah, I
Wait,
don't know.
what?
I don't know. This is all my
It's like the opposite of Medusa. You look at something and it turns it to life from stone.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I dig it, but at the same time, fairy slavery.
Yeah,
Cool.
but like
enjoying it?
Yeah. The second season is kind of like her joining, like the group who make. Sugar convections, like the people who teach them. There's like there's like 3 different houses and who teach people how to do sugar convection.
Is this
But
connected
there's-
with Mashal?
Hufflepuff, Slytherin, and slavery.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
No, that's Slytherin as well. There's slavery, and slavery.
But there's no women sugar makers.
Ah, so she's
because
alone in
there's
that.
like a religious thing about it,
okay.
and so she's trying to like break through and change the norms.
This sounds like a lot of deep lore and heartbreak for something
Yeah,
about
it is.
fairies making
Like-
cakes.
Like I'm saying this and it sounds really deep, but you watch it and it's not.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
It's really good.
All
I
right,
enjoy
well,
it.
season 1 and 2 can be found on Crunchyroll. It does have a dub as well.
I am
The
genuinely
dub is good.
fascinated
Yeah.
by this.
Yeah, I made it sound better, like more complex than what it actually is.
You're like, it's actually just cake and fairies. Oh, okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool. So, look,
Cake fairy and conspiracies.
yeah. Now, you're also watching My Happy Marriage, which
Yes, it's
Emma
brilliant.
is also watching and is obsessed with.
It's so good.
It
I
does
wish
look
it all
adorable.
came out at once though,
I
because I'm
know.
like finished one episode and it feels like not
like
an
every episode feels like a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So this is a historical fantasy romance where a girl who is, well, the daughter of this guy, he gets remarried, and then the new wife and the new daughter are horrible, and basically they treat her horrible, and then they try to marry her off to this guy who's meant to be really horrible to people, but it turns out he's actually really nice. He just doesn't like gold diggers. And then, you know, bad things ensue as the horrible stepmom and stepsister try to ruin her life by, like, you know, everything else.
But then they got their house burnt down. So.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was so satisfying.
Yeah.
Sounds like classic storybook stuff. I'm interested.
Oh, it's really good. It's
Yeah.
from a light novel, but it's not stylistically. This is not very light novel-y. This is very like traditional romance, like thick novel book. Like that sounds so
wanna
weird to
try
say.
And like, I don't know if there's like a marker for her to unlock her powers.
Yeah, I do wonder that because
So
like,
are you watching it as well, or are you
yeah.
just kind of like watching it from afar?
I'm a couple of episodes behind. So
okay.
people in this world do have like the fantastical powers that you would expect of, like, you know, like, oh, like the guy's basically like Roy Mustang, like he can use fire, like
Weird.
that sort of thing. But it's not the core focus of the series. So this is a somewhat magical setting, and she's born without a talent. But her mother's line apparently had some really powerful thing, and so it's now become like, you know, we want to get rid of her, and it's like, oh, actually we've discovered she might be useful. Maybe we should, you know, like pull her back in and utilize her for a political marriage.
So in
and-
the recent episode, you find out exactly what her mother's lineage power is as well, which kind of makes sense to the like, I guess, the problems that she's having currently with her dreams.
Her superpower
So-
is she can access Japanese grocery stores.
We've had that, and it was an exceptional anime. How dare you?
So yeah, I'm just wondering if there's like I don't know. I just wish I knew what is going to be the trigger.
To set off her power so she can use them.
Yeah, because it's about to happen.
Yeah. If you aren't watching it, watch it. It's so good. It's the Netflix one. Well, it's Netflix isn't behind it. They're just, you know, distributing it, and they're doing it weekly, which, you know, we've been saying for a while Netflix should do, but it's also weird at the same time.
I also wish that it was just all out so I could just watch it.
Well, I think the thing is, if it was all out, it wouldn't be out for another 2 months.
Yeah, and I don't think there'd be as much. I say hype. It's not exactly like
I mean, it's-
hyped about, but
well,
it's
if you
very
have a look
well
at like
loved.
the interest list, it's like in the top 10.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like, yeah, it's kind of surprising. I mean, it depends where you look. If you're looking over on like only on My Anime List, then it's going to probably be a bit further down the list because all they care about is action.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is how things used to be, and I am now in old man mode. We didn't used to just get all series available. We had to watch and then
Yeah.
wait.
Well, no, and
Back in my day.
No, I prefer that for the simple fact that whenever they do come out, like what happens with each season of JoJo's at the moment, when they come out, it's a splash in the pan. Everyone talks about it for 2 weeks and then
Yeah.
it's done. You want something which has staying
Exactly.
power, and by having it have a release schedule, even though it's digital, I disagree with like still keeping appointment-based viewing like we saw for like TV series. Like, I'm not going to go and say 7 p.m. every Thursday. I'm going to sit down and
Yeah.
watch something. I've got more important things to do.
Yeah.
I want to watch it when I have free time, and that I think is fine. And that works with the format we've got now. I just don't think it. If you've got the Netflix and it's the entire thing's there, you look at like things get massive like Squid Game, and then they just kind of drop off the radar. And
Yeah.
it's like, if you want to be part of the cultural zeitgeist, you need to stay around for an extended period. It can't just be splash in the pan. Like,
And various different platforms try their own way of doing that. I mean, Disney's
Yeah.
one is to just sort of print out as many series as possible,
well,
despite quality.
I mean,
I don't know. They've
Disney
there's,
Plus-
There's nothing much that they've put out.
Well, I mean, as far as Disney goes, Disney puts out pretty much exclusively their Marvel and Star Wars content now. That's the main things we see that are in-house produced at
Yeah.
Disney. And look,
Because they've lost
that-
the creativity for animation.
Yeah, well, I mean, don't worry about that side of it. But the important thing, I think, is that because Disney is now looking to move into the anime game, and we've seen that with the Bleach 1000 Year Blood War, but they're doing it. I hate to say this about the mouse, but I think they're doing this the right way. They haven't went out and we're going to grab everything and throw as much on the platform as possible, which was what Amazon tried to do when they had their ill-fated anime Amazon thing, which I refuse to remember the name of. They just basically grabbed as much as possible, threw it on there, and then just left it alone, and everyone got really
Right.
frustrated.
Yeah.
And like, because that's why it took so long for a dub of Vinland Saga to come out,
Right.
because they bought the rights up for it and then just forgot about it, and they didn't pay attention. Whereas
Yeah.
what we've seen with Disney is they're doing the right approach. They're not influencing the production of the animes. They're not changing how they're produced, but they're being selective about the ones they've brought in. And the anime that you can get on Disney Plus is exceptional quality. There's only a little bit of it, but it's exceptional quality.
Yeah.
And you know what? Credit to them in that regard. I'm not going to give them credit for anything else, especially not the way they run their business. But fair enough. You know, like at least whoever's managing their anime department is doing it right, and that you know we like to see that. We don't want to see what happened with Amazon, where it's detrimental to the actual industry.
Offhandedly, I did hear a fascinating rumor that Apple might be trying to buy Disney.
Apple TV already, like, their in-house shows are exceptional, and I would not like. I'm not an Apple fanboy. Don't have any Apple devices aside from the iPad we use for this, and previously worked for them as well. So I'm very well aware of their cultural structure and no. However, Apple TV, the quality of the productions they've created is exceptional. They haven't done what like Netflix or Amazon done, where they've just pumped out whatever. They've actually been thoughtful about it and hired proper studios and done it properly. So
Indeed, which is why I sort of regarded that little rumor with scrutiny, but also
I don't think Apple has enough money.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
And considering Disney just bought flipping Fox, like that's too big of a media empire to purchase.
I wonder.
No, I don't. I think if you have a look at the way Apple's done everything so far, they never buy to bring in to consolidate. They see what someone else has done and copy and create their own version that, you know, fits into their ecosystem, and that's the way they're going to keep doing it. I don't see that changing. Anyway, let's go back to actual anime, because there's no anime on Apple Plus to my knowledge. So
Wait,
Apple
is there
TV,
not?
no, not that I know of, or if it is, it's probably not. You know, it's probably not the only place you can view certain series.
Yeah.
So, Zom 100. This was my pick for the season, and I'm hyped about it, and it is good.
It is very
It
good.
is so good. It's just as good as the manga.
I was
and-
hearing only good things about it.
Well, it's exactly what you expect. It's exceptional, and I love it. It has the most recent episode has been delayed by a week. I think that should be coming out this week, so like the day after this episode comes out. But it's great. So imagine it's a zombie apocalypse, but it's fun. You know, the main character, Akira, he is spent. He's been working for a black company since graduating. He was so excited. At the ripe age of 24, he's pretty much done. Like, he's dead inside. He doesn't want to go to work. He comes home and then goes immediately back to work. He doesn't have time off. It's not good. And everything's just bad in his life. And then the zombie apocalypse happens, and it means he doesn't have to go to work anymore, which is the best thing ever.
Just the delay as well.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
being like, I don't have to go to work.
Now, we've already mentioned this before, but I want to mention that it has a live action film as well. It's on Netflix, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen clips of it, mostly involving the zombie shark.
Yes.
brilliant.
Now, the zombie shark was the most recent episode, and I haven't seen the clips for the live action version of it, but I am excited for
Just
it.
as good.
Yeah.
It's- Like we were talking about this earlier, that is now 3 different Japanese shows and mangas which have carnivorous on-land fish.
Yeah. It's that old adage. It's strange that it's happened more than once. Yeah. The thing I do like about this is, like, we're so used to seeing zombie apocalypses, and it's, you know, it's dark and it's gritty and there is blood everywhere. And instead of just doing blood, they've just given everything different colors. So it's like someone has. It's a Jackson Pollock painting. It is colors splatter everywhere. It is not just one
Yeah.
color. It's every color of the
It's
rainbow.
like a paintball game.
Yeah.
It's like a Splatoon.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
It's zombie Splatoon.
And the thing that is great about it is we're so used to seeing zombie apocalypse, and it's like, oh, well, it's just about surviving. In this case, it's like, well, I'm probably going to turn into a zombie, so here is the list of 100 things I want to do. And he's like, well, I've only got 17, so I'll keep adding to the list. And, you know, more and more people join the group as the story goes on, and it's
It's just about them going around doing the things they
living.
want to do because
I love the way
nothing's
that
stopping them.
the official website's described it. Now with his nightmare job no longer, Akira's got his mojo back. Let the bucket list begin. It's like, yes, it's a bucket. Dear God. So this is something I want to note as well. a brand new studio has done this. They're called
okay.
Studio Bug. I've never heard of them before,
So
which is Bug Films.
Have they ever worked for anyone else as sort of like a supplemental?
I think they have been a support studio, but from the look of it, and when you see like the list of all the supporting studios in it, it's long. So I think this is a new studio which has been established from former staff members of other studios who still have industry connections.
Wow.
That's my theory. I haven't done a deep dive on them yet, but you know, if they're getting stuff from Viz Media, like, and being offered to them, then yeah. I mean, they were only established in 2021,
I mean, given
September.
the quality of what we've seen, we can only expect good things.
Yeah. And now, I would like to highly contrast this with Studio Gohans, who have been doing it for 10 years and still can't get CG right because they're dumb. Like, stop trying. Like when Studio Gohans, like, this season we've got two series from them. The Masterful Cat is Depressed and The Girl I Forgot Her Glasses. Whenever they're not doing CG, it actually looks quite good.
Yeah. It's,
Whenever they do CG, it ruins it.
The Masterful Cat actually does look good, which it feels like a jarring experience considering it's from Studio Gohans. I don't want to be too cruel to them because, you know, they're people just trying to create a thing, but...
Well, no, they deserve the criticism because they've been repeatedly shown, they've repeatedly been given the criticism that their CG is bad, and do not do CG until you figure it out. And they've just pasted the same thing on. And
Kirli, have you seen much of Studio Gohans stuff?
It's just bad. Like, and it's really disappointing as well because I was really excited for The Girl I Forgot Her Glasses. Like, it's a manga that I've had on my to-read list for quite a while, and it's just jarring. It's I haven't gone back to keep watching it. It's just like, But yeah. Also, Reborn as a Vending Machine. That's a good one this season too.
Oh, yes.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But we
I need to
mentioned that
catch
before.
up with that. What do you guys reckon so far?
Oh, it's good.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's just easy watching.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah,
it's really funny.
it is.
Yeah.
So, can he talk?
He has preset phrases, which is, you know, like, thank you for shopping and yada, yada, yada. And as he levels up, he finds ways to, like, use parts of them and stuff.
So he levels up by selling drinks?
Yeah, so he has a power bill, basically. So he has to have enough credits to keep himself alive. And he can use those credits also to purchase inside himself different abilities and so on. Or
and new foods,
increases
new
durability,
drinks.
new forms. So, like, if he wants to turn himself into, like, a vending machine for just candy, for instance, he can do that if he purchases it. Or he can improve his durability by purchasing it. Like, little things like that. And whenever people buy stuff from him, the money that he gets from them goes converted into points.
It's
great.
It's okay.
Like, as long as you approach it knowing that this is meant to be a Mickey take, and it is, like, it 100% is, it's so good. Like,
and then the girl who's just, like, bad at, like, hitting things and then, like, straps the vending machine on and then she's like, oh, now I can hit people.
because she's got a counterweight to offset her ridiculous strength.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty good. Like, have you ever wanted to see someone defeat a giant fire dragon / toad with Mentos and Coke? Because now you can.
All right, I'm gonna have to watch this. God's damn.
Look, I mean, when we did the season preview, we said, look, there's enough this season to be excited about, but the stuff that has come in this season has just been exceptional. Like, even the stuff we thought that wasn't going to be that good has actually been better than we were expecting, and I'm pleasantly surprised.
It's just, I wanted to avoid it because it's just like, it's an obvious Mickey take. It looks like the kind of poster in the background of an anime.
Mm-hmm. Oh, actually, that's another one. Atelier Ryza. So the the girl with the yellow cloak, and all the advertising is about her chunky thighs.
Did you try and watch that one?
I've watched 5 episodes, and I can tell you, if you've played the game,
yes,
just play the game.
Oh, okay.
And if you haven't played the game, just play the game.
All right,
it is
okay.
What is it for the plot?
Well, no, I've stopped watching it. So there's 10 episodes. I've only watched 5. Atelier Ryza, Ever Darkness and the Secret, Hideout at the Animation is literally, minus the animation, is the name of the first game. It is literally following the plot, and they're using the same elements from the game. So when it's about alchemy. And when she's doing her alchemical creations, it is the same animation that was used in the game.
Really?
It's about alchemy or potion making alchemy?
Both.
Oh.
Both. So she makes potions, but she also then uses alchemy to make like really fine silks and stuff like that to sell to the tailor and stuff like that. She's learning how to do alchemy.
It's a good game.
Yeah, it's a really good game. Well, depending on what you like, but if you enjoy JRPGs, as a general rule, it's pretty good. But the animation just feels like it doesn't add anything to the story.
Right.
It's meant to, like, it feels like they're trying to sell the game, and it's like, but you've just told us the whole plot of the game. Like, no, no, done. Anyway, we've talked enough about what we've been watching, because evidently we've been watching a lot more than we realized. So with that, let's get on to our main topic, and that is The Cat Returns.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
It's a bathhouse for the spirits.
Totoro came back, Dad. I saw him.
It's Laputa, a floating island.
Miyazaki!
I mean, is it Miyazaki? No, it's not. This is actually Hiroyuki Morita, who is one of the other founders of Studio Ghibli.
Studio Ghibli!
Yes. Well, hang on. Actually, no, he might not actually be one of the founders. He might have been one of their dedicated directors. I need to double check.
Wait!
Oh, wow.
The cat returned.
The cat returned from outside. He was with Studio Shaft, Polygon Pictures, and he's also been with Nippon Engineering College as a teacher as well. Oh. And the main notable work of him is The Cat Returns. So let's talk about The Cat Returns. This is a beautiful Studio Ghibli film.
So pretty.
It was released in 2002. It's, as you'd expect, is fantasy animation, directed by Hiroyuki Morita and produced by Toshio Suzuki and Nozomu Takashi.
And a spin-off of a pre-existing Ghibli work.
Yes. Now, this is actually based on a manga called The Cat Returns, written by Aoi Hiragi. And she's done a lot of interesting work. So she did write Whisper of the Heart, the manga, which this is connected with, and she then also wrote this. So this is a spin-off of Whisper of the Heart, which was released 1995 it was created.
Wow.
In the Ghibli film. Manga was 1989, and it was theatrically released in 2002 through Toho. We didn't get it outside of Japan till 2005, and that was when Walt Disney did their dub of it. And to be honest, it's a damn good dub.
Yeah, they got real good cast.
I've definitely heard much worse recently. Cardcaptor.
Oi. There's a whole thing around the Cardcaptor's dub, and we'll get into that when we do Cardcaptors, because there's actually 2 dubs.
Oh,
yes, I actually do know.
There's only one you can find. There's only one you can find, and it's not the good one.
Oh, what? I have DVD.
The DVD has the good dub.
Oh!
The Blu-ray does not have the good dub.
No, wait, this I know, because the little mascot character sounded different when I first heard that show.
Exactly. In Australia, we got the 4Kids dub, which is the good dub. I know. Shocking saying that 4Kids is the good dub. And then they redubbed it with a studio in Hong Kong in like the early 2000s, and that dub is the one no one seems to like.
We need to do an episode just talking about crazy ass dubs.
Yeah. We need to do an episode just talking about ghost stories.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that, sure.
Back to The Cat Returns. Released 2002. It is 75-minute runtime. I'm pretty sure this is actually G-rated. I don't think there's anything in there.
Yeah, I think it is G.
I don't think there can be anything objectionable in a movie about going to the cat kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's double check. The Cat Returns rating. Well, it's on a 4.6, and that doesn't really help us. PG? Question mark?
Classification.
Classification. That's the one we're after.
Rated M for cat slavery.
Why is Cats rated PG?
Oh God, no. Wrong cats.
Mild animated violence, emotionally distressing themes. Yeah, look, fair. I actually think The Cat Returns might actually just be G. I don't think it is.
Yeah, I don't think there's any...
I mean, there's not really any violence. There's just...
No.
I mean, unless we want to talk about Security Cat throwing the cat into the hedge. Like, other than that, like... Sorry, we're going way off tangent here. So anyway... 75 minutes run, family friendly. This is one good for the kids. My nieces watched it the other day and they adored it. They're 4 and 6. 4 and 6? No, 3 and 6.
Small and tall.
Small and tall. It cost $20 million to make, and it actually made $65 million at the Japanese box office. Actually, no, worldwide office. Now, this film follows Haru. She's a high school student who has a suppressed ability to talk with cats, and one day she saves a cat from being hit by a truck on a busy road. Unfortunately, no, this isn't an isekai. Sorry. The cat she saved turns out to be the prince of the cat kingdom, and as thanks for this, she's gifted catnip and lacrosse sticks and mice and... cattails in her yard, and then she's offered the prince's hand in marriage, and they decide that she said yes when she didn't actually commit.
She just said, it would be nice to be a cat. Okay, good.
Yeah.
And then she starts turning into a cat.
Yeah. So
That's a bit nightmare fuel, though.
It's a bit nightmare fuel, that, yeah. So she obviously wants none of this, and Haru hears a kind female voice telling her to seek out the Cat Bureau, where she meets Baron Humbert von Gickingen, the same Baron from Whisper of the Heart, and Toto, a stone crow.
And big cat as well. What's his name?
Tokyo?
Moro?
Muta.
Muta.
The voice cast for this in English is incredible, but let's go back. So, Cat Returns is a spin-off of the movie Whisper of the Heart, and although some characters are crossed over, the stories are separate and not related. However, Studio Ghibli began work on the movie as a 20-minute cat project back in 1999, and this was for a theme park. But the park cancelled the project, and that 20-minute short film turned into a 45-minute project and then feature-length film. And to be honest, it's beautiful. You can't tell. I had no idea this could have once been a 20-minute film.
Yeah.
I wonder what parts of this were like meant for the theme park. I reckon definitely the part where she kind of comes into where the Cat Bureau is.
Yeah.
I could see that location.
Really?
I could see that location being in a theme park.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And possibly the masquerade scene.
Yeah, that would be right. And probably the scene where she gets whisked away as well. To go join, the bit where like all the cats run through the cafe and she gets pulled out with them.
Yeah.
Like that I can see working. But yeah, look, this was meant to be a short and became a feature-length film, which is actually fantastic and highly underrated. And this is one that we're all big fans of and should have talked about earlier but didn't. I still haven't actually watched Whisper of the Heart. Has anyone else watched it?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, was it good? Yeah. Not as good as Cat Returns?
Oh my God, no.
I have not, but I'm given to understand it focuses more on the whole idea that Baron is made of an object, that he is an object with a soul, and so is the crow. It seems to go more into that.
And then he has the partner. That like a female cat partner who was made like with him, but I think they were like separated because I watched the Cat Returns first, and then I heard that there was like conjoining one, so then I went and watched the Whispers, and then I was disappointed. Yeah.
Well, this is a bit of a wild film, and the dub in particular makes it all the better.
Anne Hathaway as your main girl.
As Harry, yeah. Carrie Elwes as Baron, i.e. Men in Tights Robin Hood. Like
that guy, he deserves so much more. He deserves to be in so much more.
And then you've got Muta, who is the big white fat cat, and he's done by Peter Boyle. That was the dad in Everyone Loves Raymond.
He was like a comedy actor in the 80s and 90s.
But when we were watching it, when I saw Muta turn around, I went, the cat kind of looks like if Benedict Wong was a cat.
Yeah.
And I was like, can you imagine if Benedict Wong was voicing him? Like, I would be so down for that. He would do an amazing job.
I reckon he'd be amazing. Yes.
And then the Cat King, of all people, is blimmin' Tim Curry. Like,
and he's just like, hey, baby.
What? Yeah. I wonder if they actually gave him a script. Because
I just wouldn't be surprised if he looked at the script and just go like, no, I'm a cat. I'm just going to do my own thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's very Tim Curry being Tim Curry.
Oh, definitely.
Like, yeah. Anyway.
There are certain Hollywood actors who just get away with that sort of thing.
Yeah. If the rest of the list is massive. Like, you've got Naturu, which is Andy Richter. He's Odo from Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
And we're all massive nerds.
And,
so
yep. So
I don't know if you...
Nope.
The non-nerd.
She's wearing a Ghostbusters shirt. What do you
Slice
nerd. And then you've got Kristen Bell, who's Harumi, and I think this is like one of her early roles as well. She would have been quite young.
Yeah, it sounds like teenage Kristen Bell doing it. It's like, what?
And then there's Kristen Sutherland, who I believe is related to Keitha Sutherland. She was from Buffy the Vampire Slayer as the mum.
Oh.
Yep, and she was in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids as well. Like, oh, okay.
Much 90s.
Oh, okay. No, she's got no connection to Kiefer Sutherland. She's just got a similar name, and she's married to John Pankow, who's like, I don't know,
Someone.
some actor in America who I don't know very
He's
well.
that guy from that place with the thing.
Oh, she's voiced local population in GTA 5, which came out in 2013. What? We had 10 years of Grand Theft Auto 5. I'm so confused about that. Hey,
Anyway.
Rockstar, number 6, what's going on?
Anyway, back to the anime.
Back to the anime and back to the animes. Anyway,
There was a thing I did notice is that like the character design and everything, very, very different to a lot of other Ghibli film stuff. And I suppose that's to do with the director being different.
director and art style as well. So Hirogi Ao, who's the creator of the manga, so her most widely known work is Whisper of the Heart, and that manga obviously adapted into the film, and then a number of characters made into other stories of popular culture, and the protagonist of the film Whisper of the Heart is the inspiration for Lo-Fi Girl.
Oh.
Like that channel. That is a scene from Whisper of the Heart. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, whose first iteration was based closely on the still from the film, and the two cats from the film, the Baron and Muta, have appeared in 5 different Studio Ghibli productions.
Crazy.
Yeah, so
What are the other ones?
I'm not sure. I need to find out.
Yeah.
Actually, like,
I mean, you figure they would have to be sort of modern setting-ish, but I can't think of anywhere else I would have seen them.
yeah, I know, right? Like, I'm just like, okay.
Wait, was the Baron at the end of Howl's Moving Castle?
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me if the Baron did end up in Howl's Moving Castle.
Maybe.
He was dressed similarly, but
Now we're going to have to find out what films he's in. Like this
But whether
is,
it's like the figure though, like on a shelf.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
more
yeah.
reference, more background reference, or
Like even just like a cat in the background, just like going past.
So he's a living statue of an anthropomorphic cat who is fully dressed, including a top hat and shoes, and at night he comes to life. He belongs to the owner of an antique shop named Shiro Nishi. The cat returns. He owns the Cat Bureau. In the original Japanese version of Whisperer of the Heart and Cat Bureau, he's voiced by the same person, and Carrie Elwes did it in both the other ones. I'm not seeing a listing of any other.
No. What are like Easter eggs?
Yeah.
because that's what we're thinking.
It's got to be like an Easter egg. Like, oh, okay, Cat Baron. It was a series.
What?
I'd be willing to bet this is like a small series. Let's have a look.
We might need
here.
to track this down.
Yeah, Cat Baron, Whisper of the Heart, The Cat Returns, Yume no Machi Neko no Dan Shaku. Muta appears. I think some of these are shorts.
Right.
That are only at the Studio Ghibli Museum. Yeah.
There's a bunch of those
This
actually.
makes
Like
sense.
there's the one for My Neighbor Totoro, which I've been trying to feverishly locate, but it is exclusive to Ghibli Museum.
Actually, the Baron and Muta are the most recurring characters in Ghibli works, as appearing in 5 different works compared to anyone else, followed by Minonohashi, which has appeared in 4 different works, which is a mammal-like animal species that appears in Nausicaa.
Would that be? Oh, would that be
This
the cat?
thing?
Oh my god, it's adorable. What is it?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
It's sort of like a tadpole mixed with a hamster
Yeah.
type thing.
Tadpole hamster.
I don't know what on earth it is.
What does tadpole hamster taste like?
Yeah. A frog burger. Yep. It's got slightly different appearances in. So it's a mammal-like creature with 4 red eyes and beaver-like tail, depicted to be a small species, but in the Journey of Shuna, it's quite like hippo-sized. Yeah. So anyway, like it's kind of weird. I'm having a look, and there's just so many pictures, but they're of the Baron, and they all seem to be from the other, from the 2 films that we've been talking about. Whisper
You
of the
find
Heart.
something, Curly.
So I put it in Google, Studio Ghibli Baron Easter eggs, and it comes up with like pictures of Spirited Away, Kiki's Delivery Service. So I think they're and a couple of others. So I feel like they're in that.
In Spirited Away, though, so are they in the background? Or?
I think so.
Yeah, there is a manga that Shumi Shop have. It's actually The Cat Returns, the manga. Ghibli. Well, okay, Shumi, we might be hitting you up. But yeah, I don't know. I'm actually surprised to hear he's in so many different things. Like, I didn't think he was that recurrent of a character. And the thing is, I haven't heard of... So, Cat Baron, Humpert von Gickingen, and Muta are the main protagonists in the series.
He does have a very iconic look.
Yeah, Yumi no Machi. Muta appeared as a stray cat who lives near Aki's house. He's interrupted by this in the statue... He's interested in the statue of the Baron. And Neko Moso, the characters modelled after the Baron and Muta, appear in this series. It's like, I don't know what they are, and nowhere seems to know what they are other than all the wiki articles on them, which don't actually point to wiki articles for these unusual separate things. Anyway, the Baron's awesome. Later. The Baron's awesome, and he should be appreciated by you. And if you don't appreciate him, then I don't appreciate you, and you should let that...
marinate?
Yeah. Anyway, going way off track.
Nice monologue.
Yeah, thank you. So this is 75 minutes of fun, basically. It's joy. I love it, and I highly recommend it.
Like, if you are like major into your nostalgia and love watching your old Disney cartoons, this will fit right in with all of those. Can recommend.
Yeah. This actually was really well received. Like, for it feels bad to say this, but for a minor Ghibli film, i.e. one that is not done by Miyazaki and then obviously marketed out the wazoo, this is on 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. So,
It's weird because like everyone will talk about Mononoke or Castle in the Sky or Spirited Away as like these are the big Ghibli things. But this seems just as iconic and just as beloved. It's just not as widely talked about.
Do you remember when Aaron first joined the podcast, he had never watched a Ghibli film. So he then, because he was doing night shift, decided he was going to watch all of them. And he made a valid point. Like, when you think of like the Ghibli films, there are 5 or 6 which stand out as the big ones that are always like repeatedly talked about. You know, Spirited Away, Mononoke, Totoro, Castle in the Sky, Howl's Moving Castle, and
lots of castles.
Yeah. And the number 6 kind of. Yeah, whatever. It's whatever, you know, hits the mark for you. But there's all these other ones in here. Like, we've got obviously The Cat Returns. We've got Pompoko. We've got Porco Rosso.
My favorite.
Got, you know, there's a lot of Ghibli films that are actually exceptionally good films. Kiki's Delivery Service was the 6th one that I was thinking of.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of them that people don't know a lot about or think about. Like, there's Ponyo, which when it came out in 2008 was a big deal. I still haven't seen it.
Oh, what? Really?
Like, it's one of those ones that just constantly falls down the list. Up on Poppy Hill, Tale of Princess Kaguya, when Marnie was there. All of these are recent Ghibli films in the past 10 years, 15 years, which... You know, they don't seem to get into the mental space of people who are looking for a Ghibli film to watch. Everyone goes to that main 6 or 7 films.
I mean, if you compare Up on Poppy Hill to, say, Howl's Moving Castle. Howl's Moving Castle is very, very mystical and magical. It transports you. Up on Poppy Hill is like a time capsule to like 1950s Japan.
Yeah.
And, there is... I always go back to that one for the scene where they go to Tokyo and it looks the part.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing as well is like, and part of the reason we decided to do a Ghibli film is because there is the new Ghibli film, the last film Miyazaki's making, The Boy and the Heron, which is not the actual name, but sure. The actual name is How Do You Live? And they went, no one in the West will want to go watch a film called How Do You Live? I mean, look, fair.
Damn, Bird, you live like this?
Yeah. So The Boy and the Heron. And that's... I wonder if that is going to be, because it's his last film and it's all about the film he wants to leave behind for his kids and his grandkids, whether that will end up in that that top list that people go, oh, these are the films you watch, or if like this it'll end up further down. But
I am very fascinated to see this film after so long.
I know, right? Because I mean, it's been like 10 years, and during that time, people kept going, "Oh, he's been, he's
come out of retirement."
It's like, no, he's just been working on it. Like,
man's been busy.
So, anyway, the production around Cat Returns is actually kind of interesting. So, when the Whisper of the Heart manga and film came out in 1995, that kind of, because that, strangely, it did quite well in Japan, Whisper of the Heart. Not so good internationally, but it was quite well liked. And there were a lot of figurines of the cats and the other various characters that reappear in this. And that, by the sounds of it, the girl's life had no magical elements. The film featured short fantasy scenes depicting that the girl was writing of the Baron, a character of her novel, which was so popular that it inspired that an indirect sequel was made featuring Baron and another girl, a high school student named Haru. So the popularity of the magical story of Baron in Whisper of the Heart is what led to a literal fantastical story about the Baron being written, which is just amazing. And it doesn't say what Japanese theme park it was, but they wanted three elements to be Miyazaki wanted three key elements to be featured in the story, and that was the Baron, Muta, and a mysterious antique shop. And we see all of those quite quickly, quite easily. And then they were Hiragi was actually commissioned to create the manga of the story, which is where we get Baron the Cat Returns, and that was published by Viz Media in English. And then the theme park cancelled the project, and Miyazaki took the existing work done by them and used it for testing for future Ghibli directors.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah, and this is, like the short was now to be 45 minutes long. Responsibility was given to Morita, and he started animating in 1999 for the film My Neighbors, the Yamadas. And then over a 9-month period, he translated Baron into a 525-page storyboard.
Crazy.
That's actually about right, actually. For when you think about how many shots they have in Ghibli films, that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
still,
the Cat Returns.
That is a lot of work.
Yeah, Miyazaki and Toshi Suzuki decided to produce the full-length feature based on those storyboards by Morita. This was partly because Haru, the main character, had a believable feel to her, and it became the second theatrical Studio Ghibli feature to be directed by someone other than Miyazaki. So there you go. So that's why it's kind of like important. I want to also make a point that they were not the only ones working on it. They also got Telecom Animation Film to help, along with Production IG, who we like, and Dr. Movie. Dr. Movie is a South Korean animation studio that you will see appear on so many productions, and they provide support with a lot of Japanese animations titles, especially Madhouse.
Interesting.
So, and in 2001, Madhouse actually became a partial owner investor in Dr. Movie. So, notably contributed to Claymore in 2007.
I still need to watch that.
Yeah,
we need to do an episode on that.
Yeah, we do. So, besides Madhouse, Dr. Movie has worked extensively with Nickelodeon, Sunrise, Warner Brothers Animation, Gonzo Studio, and Studio Ghibli. It is the only Korean studio contract studio with which Ghibli has worked. So,
wow.
There you go. They also have a production facility in Busan. I'm just like, Train to Busan! Oh, no, never mind.
You guys seen that and the sequel?
No,
It's been on my list. They were in, just so you know, Dr. Movie was involved in production of Avatar: Last Airbender, original.
Oh, okay, good.
Yep.
Not the movie.
The Batman. Batman, Mystery of the Batwoman, Batman and Harley Quinn, Batman vs. Two-Face, Godzilla, the series 1 and 2, Hellboy, Sword of Storms. There's just like Justice League Action, Justice League Dark, Lunatics Unleashed, Men in Black, the series, The Simpsons season 34 for the Treehouse of Horrors, the Death Tome. So they did the Death Note episode.
They did the anime episode, right?
Yeah, they've done a lot of stuff with everyone. And it's like, they don't even list all of the, anime they've been involved in because there's too many. They just list, the American productions because they're like, there's only a few of these. It's okay.
Oh, fair enough.
Oh, they were involved in High Guardian Spies.
Oh, that's...
I feel for them. They probably were like, after that, we're not helping you anymore.
That's a shame.
Yeah. Anyway, that's Dr. Movie. We should actually probably do a proper episode on them.
I want to believe that they were involved in High Guardian Spice in all of the parts that were, animated and coherent, and everything else was someone else's fault.
Yeah, we blame it on someone else. Anyway, getting well off tangent here anyway. So, the dub for this is fantastic. It's, as we mentioned, voices of Anne Hathaway, Carrie Ellis, Peter Boyd, Elliot Gould, Tim Curry, Judy Greer, and Kristen Bell. And that released in 2005 on DVD alongside Nausicaa and Porco Rosso's dub at the same time.
It's a crazy thing because you always think of early dubs being very poorly acted.
I mean, that's the thing as well. Like, that's one thing that I like. I do not like the mouse. But if there is one thing I give them massive props for, is their quality of dubbing. Like, whenever Walt Disney has been involved in a dub, it has been standout and exceptional because they get actual actors, not like. And that's not to say voice actors are bad, but if you get a stage actor and get them in, they are going to emote a lot more strongly because they're used to being in front of a crowd and they know they have to push it that extra nth degree.
Well, even then, I figure that also has something to do with the director because
that's
there's
true as well.
plenty of voice acting roles where they brought in someone famous and they just have not hit the part.
This is true. I mean, like, you have a look at what Salami Studios did. So they did the dub for Cyberpunk and were also involved in a lot of the older dubs that we know that we enjoyed, such as like Cowboy Bebop, Neon Genesis, and so on. Not directly. They're the studio that does it, and they then
What
have
was the name
come
of
in.
the studio?
Salami Studio. They're good folks over at Salami. Like, I would actually really like to do an interview with them to find out what the experience has been like because they've been in the game for like 20-something years.
So, how did you come up with the name for your company? Well, we were out to lunch one day and
Had a salami sandwich. And there we go, salami.
we should call our studio Studio Sandwich. Wait, no. Oh.
But yeah, look, we do know that G-Kids now looks after all the dubbing for the Ghibli films. That's been pretty much since 2018, 2017. And they do a good job, but we're not getting in those big names. It's now like I mean, geez, Nausicaa had Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
Like what? So they got all these big actors in to do it, and you don't get that anymore. And it's kind of like a time capsule of a period where Disney was taking Ghibli's work really seriously.
Yeah.
I kind of miss that.
Me too. And
Yeah.
I mean,
And that's not to say anything's wrong with G-Kids, but it's a very different feel.
no, that is actually crazy to think about, though. It's like now anime is being taken a lot more seriously by like major productions and corporations because there is big business in anime. Back then, it was still somewhat niche.
Yeah.
So
which is crazy to think about.
the new movie that's coming out, is that going to come out like already
Dubbed.
dubbed?
My understanding is yes.
I wonder who they have.
It's G-Kids, and I think there is a list online. I'll have a look once we get into the news, actually, because there was an announcement recently about dubbing rights to it. I just don't remember who it ended up actually being. So, go figure. Anyway, The Cat Returns. It is on Netflix, HBO Max. Basically, anywhere you can watch a Studio Ghibli film, it is in that catalogue. And
It's adorable.
it's
Hit it up.
adorable. It's fun. It's family friendly. You can watch it with the kids. The dub is really easy listening as well. It's not like too fast paced or too slow. It's very well done. Highly recommend. Go watch, do things. It be good.
Wi-Fi Radio.
Tonight on Anime Communique.
Great story, compelling and rich.
Nothing brings ratings up like a little controversy.
I too have gone watched dumb things.
Have you? Oh, well. So, let's get into the anime news, and let's might as well start off with Miyazaki's The Boy and the Heron. It opened simultaneously on IMAX and normal film in Japan, and it sold 4.64 million tickets, earning just shy of 7 billion yen. So
Crazy.
that's 700 million, I think that would be. I can't math. No, I'm way off the mark. It's 47 million US.
That's still decent
Well,
takings.
I don't know like the conversion off the top of my head because it changes so much. So that was as of Monday. That was a week ago, and that was the first opening week.
Okay.
So that's not a bad innings.
Decent revenue for Japan.
Yeah. It also opened simultaneously on. Oh, hang on, no, it's July 14. It opened, so it's been open for 6 weeks now.
Oh.
Oh.
That's not really very good, is it? I'm sure it's cost them more than 40.
Well,
Actually, Miyazaki was doing most of the animation himself, so it hasn't cost them 47 million.
They didn't spend any money on advertising.
Yeah. The film has earned more than Miyazaki's Spirited Away in its first 4 days, and 50% more than Wind Rises from 2013.
Wow.
It also exceeded 1.7 million from 44 IMAX screens, which is a new 3-day opening record according to Deadline. So it's done well. It is going to get a simultaneous IMAX. Well, it's the first Studio Ghibli film to get a simultaneous IMAX release, and is also streaming on. It's also screaming on Dolby Atmos, Dolby Cinema, and DTSX. So all like the, you know how like if you've got like a normal cinema, and then you've got like a really fancy one, they're like it's got the best music sound and all that. It's for those ones.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
Right.
yeah, now it will release in North America theaters later this year. G-Kids have licensed it. We were hoping there'd be some information on the dub, but I do not seem to find any. All we've got is information on the One Piece dub. So that's not very helpful. I mean, the live action, because they're getting the Japanese cast to voice, which is kind of cool. So look, this film is going to have its international premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival on September 7th, and this will mark the first time the festival opens with an animated film, as well as the first time for a Japanese film. So that's kind of cool. Kind of cool. All right. Onto controversy. Zom 100 has had its 6th episode delayed on some streaming services. Some, the keyword used. Not sure why.
Okay.
So
strange.
6th episode premiered on Monday on Netflix, Hulu, and Crunchyroll. So it's been pushed back by... Delayed by... okay, this has changed a lot since the last time I've read it. Sorry.
I mean, it can't be COVID that's pushing it back.
No,
What's going on
it's
here?
been delayed by 24 hours due to production circumstances. So I'm wondering if something like happened to one of their servers when they were exporting
Yeah,
it.
it must be. Or something close to that.
Wow, doesn't sound too bad.
The anime's 4th episode, which aired on July 30th, was similarly delayed to July 21 on some streaming services. Okay, so that it's airing no trouble on Japanese TV. It's just getting it to the streaming services that seems to be the problem. And it might also be like, it is zombies, so maybe there's like some stipulations they're making and saying, can you quickly tweak that or whatever.
Oh.
Yeah,
Nah.
who knows. Anyway, episode 7 will air on September 3rd, and then a recap episode will air on September 10th before the 8th and 9th return on the 17th and 24th. So a bit disappointing we're getting a recap episode because it doesn't need it.
No, absolutely not.
There is absolutely no reason for a recap episode when you can watch it online.
Just gotta wonder who are these recap episodes for?
The recap episode is very traditional for Japanese audiences. So they're like, if you it's my point on this is it's far too late for the recap episode. If you're going to do the recap episode 6,
Okay.
like it has a space, but normally once you get past the 3 episodes, you then have episode 4 and 5 will be everyone going, oh, okay, actually, yeah, this is good. But then if you've missed those first 5 episodes, well, yeah, you want to recap if you wanted to jump in, and that makes sense in that regard for at least for appointment-based viewing, which Japan does a lot of.
Okay, that makes more sense.
But in the day and age where everything is on streaming, including this, you can stream this in Japan on Netflix. You don't need a recap episode. People can literally just go and get it. So
And there's
it's
that thing of tradition.
Yeah.
Once again.
making things bad.
Gotta keep that fax going.
So it's still going to be 12 episodes despite the despite the pointless recap app. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. And as we mentioned, this is by the brand new Studio Bug, and big fan of them.
Very interested to see what they'll do next.
All right, let's move on to visual novels, and this is something we will probably use. I know that's a very odd segue for us. So I don't know if I've mentioned before on the podcast, but there is Tsukihime, which is Lunar Legend Tsukihime.
One of your old favorites.
Yeah, and this is a remake of the original visual novel game. The original visual novel came out in like 95, I think it was. And it's going to be heading to PS4 and Switch in English localization in 2024. They have launched in Japan the new version of it on PS4 and Switch in August 2021. And there was the game features a different voice cast from the 2003 Lunar Legend Tsukihime TV anime adaptation. Now, this is part of the Type Moon universe, and Type Moon is where Fate comes from. And,
Right.
Yeah. And a lot. Like, originally founded by novelist Kinoku Nasu and illustrator Takashi Takeuchi as a Dojin Soft hobbyist-made games circle. After its success with Tsukihime, which became the first big one, the circle became a label under Notes, the new company founded by Nasu and Takeuchi, named after one of Nasu's earlier novels. You named your early novel Notes? Why?
That was the name of the file he had all this stuff in.
Yeah.
Yeah, however, most fans still refer to the company as Type Moon or T-Moon. So this does have quite a lot of interconnection. It's anime. You've got Kanan, Fate, like literally every single Fate. My God, you actually have to keep scrolling. Higurashi, Garden of Sinners, Lucky Stars OVA. They were credited for special thanks in that for some reason.
Wait, what? Is Lucky Star part of the Fate universe?
It is now. Melty Blood. Today's menu from the Amir family. I don't know. Like some of Lord Elmilio's When They Cry, Witch on the Holy Night. Like there's a lot that came from games and stories they've created, which has been brought into that. So
Lucky Star is part of the Fate universe.
They were just given special thanks in it. They weren't actually credited as the original creator like they are in all the others. So don't worry, it's fine.
One is brain melting for scope and scale. The other one is just brain melting.
Okay.
It's just, why are they connected? Why?
I don't know. I really don't know. Anyway, they've released on Wednesday a trailer for the English version of it. So Tsukihime, A Piece of Blue Glass Moon, which is the remake of the game, and it contains an English rendition of the original visual novel's cryptic opening scene and contains the game's opening title sequence, which is a theme song called Simesan, which is Lifeline, and it's sung by Ryo Na. So that's all been online, and they're doing a really big push for this. So I think we might have to go and do an episode looking at the original original anime before the new game comes out, because honestly,
I might have to play the game.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty keen to play it.
I'd say so. The anime, it was strangely disjointed to me. Like, I understand like why like people like it, but at the same time, it feels like you're going to get more out of it if you play all the different lines of the game. It feels like there's a lot missing in the anime.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I mean, this is I always quite enjoyed Lunar Legend Tsukihime, and this is like 2003. This was like early days of anime watching for me.
That was one of the first ones you showed off to me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, actually it was, wasn't it? Yeah. Wow. Man, that's gone back.
It is.
I'm old.
I'm old, Greg.
Oh, trivia. We have 7 pieces of trivia for Lunar Legend Tsukihime. It was first released in Comic Market 59 of winter 2000.
It's about pretty vampires.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, let's move quite on from that. So let's talk about Suzume. Yes, the film that we got really hyped about, which was...
A mistake?
No, it was good. It was good. I did really like Suzume. Makoto Shinkai did a really good job of it. It's gone back to the cinemas for 100 theaters in Japan. It's gone for a special run from September 20 to October 5. The special screening will commemorate the release of the Blu-ray and DVD, which will come on September 20th. And the special film screenings will coincide with the dates of the film's story when the protagonist Suzume starts her 5-day journey through Japan. So that's kind of cool. It actually was in cinemas for 6 months. So
That's
yeah.
mad.
In Japanese theaters, it earned 105 million US at the time, which is very nice. Very nice. Worldwide gross is 175 million as of June this year. So yeah, 15th highest earning film of all time in Japan, as well as ninth highest earning anime film of all time in Japan. So it's pretty up there. All right, let's talk about what's coming out, because there's a lot. I'm actually quite surprised.
This season was pretty chock full. So
yeah, like there's so many announcements. So let's start from the top. Urusei Yatsura, its second half is going to premiere in January 2024. That is the reboot of Rumiko Takahashi's series, which was her first anime series and one of her first manga series. And I think that came out in I think it was like late 90s. The manga ran from 78 to 87, and the TV anime ran from 81 to 86. For the original. So it's been around. It's been a while. Then we've got Hokkaido Girls are super adorable. That's coming out in January as well. And it's Hokkaido Gals. So they're like gals.
Gals. Yeah, that's my jam.
Yeah. Wow. So that's going to be interesting as well. Very pretty art style. I actually quite like the character design because she's a gal. And then the guy actually he doesn't look like Kirito. The main guy does not look like a generic Japanese anime boy.
There's a change happening.
And then I don't know who the purple haired girl is, but she seems cool. And oh wow, she's definitely a gal. Pink hair and everything. I think it's going to be a lot of fun by the sounds of it. It's a comedy romance series. I'm hoping for something in line with like
Dress Up Darling.
Dress Up Darling. Dress Up Darling or Nagatoro or like, the sort of like the somewhat teasy.
There is something
girl.
in the character design which looks like that, yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember who the studio
and the poster
was,
especially.
Yeah.
Let's find out who the studio is for this, because then we'll know if it's going to be bad.
Well, you never know.
Wow. Okay. It's Silverlink. Yes.
Wow.
And Blade, who I've never heard of. Mirai Minato is the chief director. They did Masamunekin's Revenge, Bafuri, and a few others. They're also overseeing the series scripts for the anime. The episode director of Laid Back Camp and The Great Jahi Will Not Be Defeated is directing it. Ooh. And the character designer. I wonder if this isn't PG. It's Katsuyuki Sato, Sato Katsuyuki. My stepmom's daughter is my ex.
Yeah.
And fire in his fingertips. My childhood friend is a fireman.
Oh, yes.
Wait, is that the one Terry was in?
That's the one Terry's in.
That's the one Terry's in.
It in fact is. I remember
the
that.
dry guy. Is he? I'm not sure if he is.
One of our voice actor mates. He's a delight.
I don't think this is the one he's in. I think this is the.
Are you certain? Because that is
I
a
think
very
he's in
iconic title.
I think he's in the other Sexy Fireman one.
Oh, the other Sexy Fireman one.
There's like 3 of them. One of them we definitely cannot name because the name is... Now, the Haikyuu Final Project...
Which is a delight, but it's weird that it happened 3 times.
I know, right? Their first film in the 2-part Haikyuu Finale project has revealed its title and logo. The first film is to tell the fated showdown between Karasuno High and Nekomata High. And that was shared on Twitter about a week back now. The film is going to be called Haikyuu the Movie, The Decisive Battle at the Garbage Dump.
Yeah, because I thought this had already finished. All of this.
Yeah, I thought we were done, but no, this is the final 2 double-ended project. And I think
the final battle is going to take place at the tip. Why?
Yeah. So I thought it was finished as well, but it turns out there's like additional stuff from the manga that hasn't been adapted that is part of the final arc. So yeah, checks out. Dungeon People manga about managing a fantasy dungeon is getting a TV anime. It is a web action manga that is shared on Futabashas, and it looks cute.
I've seen the art for it for the teaser. It looks very cute.
Yeah, so
very comfy looking.
Clay was trained by her father to be an expert member of the Thieves Guild. Since her father disappeared 3 years ago, she's been using her skills to search for him in the dungeon, filled with goblins, a minotaur, and all manner of other dangerous creatures. But when Clay reaches deeper than anyone ever has before, she meets the caretaker of the dungeon, and to her surprise, Clay is invited to join the staff. So thus begins Clay's new job, to learn the inner workings and behind-the-scenes secrets of the dungeon from the inside.
Oh, like sets up all the challenges.
Yep, exactly.
I think this has actually been a joke in a lot of different like D&D things. It's just like, you know how you go into a dungeon and the traps are well oiled and there's torches lit? Who takes care of that?
Yeah.
Now, we don't have an exact date for this, but look, if it's being announced now, probably sometime in the next 6 to 9 months usually.
I'm really happy with the amount of like swords and sorcery fantasy we're getting. We're getting this as well as Dungeon Meshi.
Yeah.
I feel like we're getting to the end though. Not the end, but like for me, the tolerance of having this sort of anime.
Oh, look, I don't think they'll ever stop making it.
No, they won't.
Like Isekai.
Yeah.
It's a solid genre. Bleach, 1,000 Year Blood War, its part 2 finale is going to be a 1-hour special on September 30th. So...
that checks out.
And there's also a compilation on September 2nd of part 2's first half. So, which really doesn't make sense, but okay, cool. Now, Dr. Stone, its second part of New World, that's arriving October 12th, which is early, actually.
I kind of fell off Dr. Stone a bit.
Yeah, so did I.
Same.
And to be honest, if they had kept going with season 3 and just kept pushing through instead of doing 11 episodes and then having a 6-month break, 3-month break, it it would have done better because this is a good part of the story, and they've paused it on a cliffhanger.
Did they?
Yeah, I'm not happy about that. Like, I've read the whole manga. I've finished the manga.
Right,
it's
right.
done. It's great, and this is a good story. And it just feels like it's not getting the attention it deserves because they're just ing it. So yeah, Ancient Magus Bride Season 2 Part 2.
Yay.
That is going to land on October 5th, and it's got a new opening song. Woo.
I've just almost finished Season 2 Part 1 last night. I'm
yeah?
like a few episodes away from the end. It's great. They had a camping episode.
You mentioned this.
Yes, and it was interrupted by a Knuckleivee.
What is a Knuckleivee?
Scottish ancient fairy tale horror story.
Okay, that's well within the scope of Ancient Magus Bride, but what is a Knuckleivee?
A Knuckleivee is like a horse with no skin with the top half of a rider attached to it. It basically is responsible for famine, destroying crops, wreaking havoc.
Skinless centaur?
Yes, and it's top half is also supposed to have the horse's head as well.
Oh.
And
so it's a centaur wearing a goofy horse head mask.
No. And it also has arms so long and so sharp that they drag along the ground and rip everything to pieces.
Okay.
It's the sort of thing that if you were ever going to sort of be a DM for a Dungeons and Dragons game, this is what you have in your back pocket when you just decide that you absolutely hate everyone at your table and want them to suffer. It is nightmare fuel. And so there was like a mix between, camping, which is lovely and comfy, and Knuckleivee, which is the exact opposite of comfy in every way.
Yeah, that's fair.
Good episode, 10 out of 10. We'll watch again.
Alrighty. Dress Up Darling. Its manga has switched to monthly chapters for its current arc. So each chapter will have more pages per chapter, which is good because it's been fortnightly and it doesn't feel like much has happened in each chapter because of,
Dress Up Knuckleivee.
Sorry. Next chapter is available on September 15th. This is a temporary switch to monthly serialization for the manga's current Tenmei, the Mandate of Heaven arc, and this is due to the author drawing more pages per chapter for the arc. That checks out, but yeah. The Mandate of Heaven arc it's all to do with like an outfit that they've been working on, and it's felt like it's taken a very long time for them to get to the point where, hey, he's found the final item of that he needs.
That checks out though. It does take a very long time to make an outfit.
Yeah, no. But it feels like it's taken I think it's 8 or 9 chapters. It feels like it's taken for him to find the right fabric.
Yeah,
and it's like it didn't need to be dragged out that long, and it feels like it's kind of stalled a little bit in the storytelling and the character relationships.
On this.
No, don't get me wrong. It's true things can take a while, but it's felt like the last that many chapters has just been all about I can't find the fabric.
Yeah.
You can do that for 2 chapters, but you can't keep doing it. They've stalled the character interactions, the relationships developments, and all that sort of stuff for this. And
that's a shame.
It feels like it's also been inconsistently coming out because of it. So I think this is a good move, and I think this will help, put it back on the right path that it needs to be. So that'll be good.
Is the author of this also cosplayer? Because maybe this is just sort of like they're venting their frustration.
No, I don't think they're a cosplayer, but I do know that they have a lot of contacts they talk to in the industry who create professional cosplays and stuff, and that's where they're getting all the information and research. Because otherwise they wouldn't get it right.
Yeah.
That checks out.
All right, and now here is the big news. Science Saru have a new anime coming out.
Okay.
Science Saru are putting out an anime on Netflix. It is the Scott Pilgrim anime.
Oh,
yeah.
Science Saru, i.e. Aizuken.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they are also returning the full 2010 live-action cast for it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which is intriguing because a lot of them have sort of changed over that amount of time.
Yep. But I think it's going to be pretty damn good. It's been done. So Netflix began streaming the first teaser trailer for it. Universal Studio Groups, Universal Content Production, and Science Saru are the group that have worked together for it. And it's wild. And I didn't actually realize this in the lead up to it, but technically speaking, the film for Scott Pilgrim was technically a flop.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I hear a lot of people
Exactly.
It's because it's the like a cult phenomenon after the fact that it came out, I think is what.
Okay.
Yeah. But here's the thing. When you have a look at the cast of the Scott Pilgrim film, they're all big.
Mm-hmm.
So Michael Cera, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Satya Baba, who is Patel, Kieran Culkin, who's Wallace, Chris Evans, who I always forget was in it as Lucas Lee, Anna Kendrick, Brie Larson, Alison Pill, Audrey Plaza, Brandon Routh, Jason Schwartzman, Johnny Simmons, Mark
Jason
Webber. Yeah, like Mae Whitman and Ellen Wong. Like, holy hell! Like, you think about that in a modern day. Like, if you had to pay all those people to do something, that's not going to be cheap. So well done, Universal. I will tip my hat off to you, and I will watch it.
I had the original manga ages ago, so
Yeah,
I gotta wonder
comics.
if the new one's going to be like faithfully following it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. They also have quite a lot of people helping out on this. So O'Malley is writing the project alongside and serving executive producer with Ben David Grabinski, who's in charge of the Are You Afraid of the Dark series, which is a live action.
That's from ages ago.
Yeah, so that's getting.
Are
a
You
new
Afraid
reboot.
of the Dark was like Canadian Goosebumps.
Yeah,
It was.
it's gonna be good.
Man, that's weird.
Science Saru is animating the project, and its CEO is serving as producer, along with Abel Gongora, and who did the Star Wars Visions TOB1 episode for Science Saru, also as the director.
I kind of also wonder how this is going to land, because Scott Pilgrim was kind of almost a cultural time capsule. It was a very different time. So is this just going to be pure nostalgia fuel, or is everyone just going to be very confused?
Well, it gets even better, because Edgar Wright, who's the director and co-writer of the original one, is executive producer.
Oh, wicked.
With his producing partner Nira Park, and it's got basically they've grabbed everyone who did the original game.
That's pretty cool.
I do appreciate Edgar Wright's movies, just...
Yeah.
I wonder how effective he is with animation.
Well, he said writers hinted in 2020 that there were some plans to revisit the material in an animation way. We've been with talks with Brian and Jared for a while about it. What if we did something with the books in anime form? This has been discussed as we speak, and that was in 2020, and it's obviously evolved. I think it's going to be interesting how they address negative Scott. And how they phrase that, because but look, I think it'll be good. I think it'll be great. Anyway, there's your controversy.
Wi-Fi Radio.
Negative Scott. We're not going to use the short one. So next episode, maybe card captors? Maybe?
Hopefully.
We'll see where everyone is, because that's kind of what it is. We want to make sure that, everyone who wants to talk on it on the team gets to talk on it. And
I will also watch more of the Strange Card series.
It's great.
It's great. And Emma's been rewatching it, which is why I discovered the dub thing, because she's like, why? Can you see if you can find if there's somewhere to watch the other dub? And I'm like, the other dub? And she's like, well, this isn't the one we saw on TV.
Yeah, it's like I mentioned before, the mascot in the one that I started watching is way more high-pitched and cutesy than the one I remember.
Yeah, same. So, yeah, look, that's what we're going to leave things for this episode. So thank you so much for listening. And if you have enjoyed what you've heard, we'd love you to hit that subscribe button. Join us for future episodes. If you're listening on YouTube, hit like button too, subscribe.
Argue with us in the comments. I'll fight you.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Tell us why Kenny's wrong.
I'm not about whatever it is, but I'm not.
Now, if you would like to support the channel, we do have a Patreon. We are a little bit behind on content for that due to me being crook for the past 4 weeks and the house move and everything else. So I will be getting on that this week. If you do want to support us, there is that option there. We have extra content such as episode outtakes, video extras, and show updates, and the pre-show.
We say naughty words in the pre-show.
Yeah, and talk trash.
Yeah.
This time we were talking about the World Cosplay Summit along with...
love it.
I can't remember. Oh, yeah, we were talking about what we were going to do this episode.
Yeah.
Because, we were like, we can't do that, right? So if you can support us, it'd be greatly appreciated. $1 gets you on board and access to almost everything other than the high-end video stuff. And that's pretty inconsistent at the moment. Now that we've got the house and the studio, we can actually do it. So hey,
yay.
If you would like to join the Wi-Fi community, we're on the socials and all the good stuff. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Discord, Threads. Though I haven't posted anything on there. TikTok. It's
Oh, I know you're supposed to call Twitter X now.
I refuse,
Me
Elon.
too.
I refuse. So that's that, I guess. Boo earns to Twitter changing its name to X is so silly. Like, the man's obsessed with X.
He named his child X or something. Anyway, whatever.
He's owned like X.com since the internet started. Like, and I think he wanted PayPal to be called X something as well.
Yeah, he tried to push for that, and then he was ousted from the company.
So ridiculous.
He wasn't ousted from the company. He actually sold his share in PayPal. But yeah,
have you seen the picture of him basically dressed up as Lestat?
No.
It's early internet stuff, and I'm pretty sure it's why he bought Twitter was to like take that picture away.
I mean, you can go in and delete it. It's not going to stop it from being hosted on every other website on the internet. Like,
yeah, Stry sound effect is strong.
Yeah. But yeah, so we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. We're going to be recording some extras ahead of time because I'll be heading, which will not be shared on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter. No, we will be recording some extra episodes because I'm heading off to Japan.
How
For
exciting!
3 weeks as well.
You're lucky.
Yeah. Yep. That's still 4 weeks away, so we've definitely got one episode in between now and then, and we'll. You and I need to do a Eurocamp movie review.
Yay.
Yep, I need to sit down and watch that. I like the comfy. And then maybe we'll find something else to shove in there for an extra too.
It was a fine movie. You know how the series has almost no consequences to it? This one almost has a consequence to it.
Oh,
Yeah.
almost.
Right?
Oh.
Hey, fun fact, there's actually now another series coming too.
Yes!
Like, I was like, oh, so that's the end of it. That's a bit sad.
It
And then
still boggles my mind that this show has more content than Naruto almost.
no.
It sells more merchandise than Naruto.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, it doesn't.
Yes.
No, you feel like it does, but it doesn't. Like,
It's truly it does.
you should have a look at the merchandising figures for Naruto of its lifespan. It's insane.
The mass marketing of this is undeniable.
No, I just think it's because we're elder millennials and, like...
You know how they introduce like a random side character in season 2 who's there for like a moment?
Yeah.
You can buy her entire outfit.
Is this the cousin?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's cool. I didn't know that.
The merchandise. I'll show you later.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Look in the comments, and we might have outfits from Eurocamp.
Fight me! I will dress in the outfit and fight.
Anyway, that is where we're going to leave things. Thank you so much for listening. You've been listening to Wi-Fi Radio. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, watch some anime.
Watch some anime in the comments.